ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world show made for the fans by a fan. I am your host, as always, Richard Tiemann. This is the award-winning Fan Show. Happy Wednesday to you all, Hump Day, as some of you may refer to it as. However you celebrate it well, because it means that you are midway through your work week if you're one of those people nice enough to have one of those Monday through Friday. 8 to 4, 9 to 5, 7 to 3, whatever works for you, right? But if you're privileged enough to go Monday through Friday, this means that you are officially midway through your work week. We're so halfway through or midway through the Fan Show week, which runs every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And I gotta tell you, if you can hop on the Fan Show business model where you only work Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, I strongly encourage it because it is nice. I will say, though, that only the show is the one that, like, the actual broadcast portion of it is the only thing that goes Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. We sometimes have Friday specials. I've done Monday episodes on holidays. And then, of course, I'm out about traveling, doing a tour each year. So it's, there's some fine print there as to what just exactly, how much holidays and paid vacation what you get from the Fan Show, just quote-unquote working 3 days a week, because I assure you, there is much more to it than that. In fact, speaking of much more to it, tonight is a very special night because we are starting a brand new segment. That's right, it's what?
Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready? It's robot fighting time!
No, that's right, Farouk. You tell him, man. It is robot fighting time, and we are very ready to begin our new weekly segment for BattleBots. Up first is F.A.N and his twin brother Bryce Woolley, I believe is how you pronounce it. Double Trouble or Double Jeopardy, I'm not sure. I'm going to get the 110% answer with that. Fozzie! I have a brand new kitten, and he's obsessed with the jingle toys. So if you hear the jingling in the background, that's Fozzie, newest family member, newest member of Fan Nation, Team Fan Show, and Team Tiemann. But let's go ahead and proceed. Did he just run into the fridge? I'm pretty sure he just ran into the fridge. Anyway, so jingling, jangling, and cuteness aside, let's go ahead and get to our headlines. And headlines, of course, are brought to you by Dynamite Enterprises. You need to hit up Ethan if you want to customize your world. Why? Because he's one of the best at it. I got to tell you, I don't vouch for people just to vouch for people. They have to have done something, proven themselves. And I'm not saying I have like this unreasonable bar or it's an achievement you unlock in Zelda or something, right? It's a realistic thing. It's, you give and you get back. It's a handshake. That's what it is. It's really just like a business handshake that extends beyond the actual handshake. So he did a solid for me, hooking me up with 125 fabulous shirts at a great price, and we went through, we handpicked the shirt, the material I wanted, the color I wanted, and handpicked the colors to make sure that we matched the colors correctly on the logo. And so for him to do that, for us to make this arrangement where I come and pick up the shirts I need, in increments as far as the stops on the tour to give away, and in return, I was going to shout him out all month long on the show. Of course, I'm still going to pay him for his services because the shout-outs alone aren't going to pay for the work that he did, but that's what I mean here, on the Fan Show, is that's the handshake beyond the handshake. It's like, look, you did great quality stuff. You did it, there was no shady stuff going on. No, well, yeah, but I said, this is what I want. You said, this is what we can do. Handshake, done, and now we're repeating. So we have established a great business relationship, and you can have one of those established them too if you hit up Dynamite Enterprises. They will do everything from screen printing, embroidery, stickers, banners, trophies, pens, coasters, and even foam fingers. Customize your world. If you can imagine it, if you can dream it, you can do it. You can put your logo and your artwork on it, because Ethan knows how. Tell him the Fan Show sent you, and he's going to hook you up. But that like I said, everybody that I plug on the show, I do because I trust their product. There's a few products that I have that were made by companies that I don't trust, that I will not plug on the show because the quality was not as advertised. The business dealings were not, in my mind, what I would consider professional. And it's not something that, you cross the bridge and then it burns and you can never cross it again. These relationships are more than capable of being repaired. But when there's things that happen that you just, as a business person yourself, sit back and go, why would you do that? Then, it raises a red flag. So when I talk about Dynamite Enterprises, Undisputed Belts, Praxis, whoever else, it's because they've done me a solid. And I trust them. I trust their product. I use their products. And I think that they're great business people. So this is all done on a strictly professional standpoint. So headlines are: newest member of the family, Fozzie, playing in the background. You can hear the jingle, jingle, jingle. We've got the follow-up premiere of the Season 3 of BattleBots coming up. And that is on the Science Channel. And they're going to have some bonus content. They've got another three-way, another triple threat battle royal between Kraken, Sharko, and Petunia. Was that the third one? I'm not sure, but Ed Ed of Sharko has been all over this thing. Edward Robinson, great guy, former sword swallower in Carney, but this dude, I had the privilege and the pleasure of interviewing him while I was down there, and it's great. I cannot wait to see. Yeah, so tonight on the Science Channel, there's another Bot Rumble, a bonus one with Sharko. Let's see, where is the other? I know it's Sharko, and I know that it is Kraken, but I don't know what the third one is on this one. So let's see if he shared a freaking picture of it. Did he? Is it there? Kraken and who else? Petunia? I'm not sure. I could be wrong, but I know that it's Sharko and Kraken for sure. We're going to get to know the guys behind Double Jeopardy and Double Trouble, and that's going to be a lot of fun. That's coming up a little later here. It's Power Rankings Day. Happy Power Rankings Day. Unfortunately, I got my schedule so booked, I forgot to hit up Connor and be like, hey, man, you want to do Power Rankings? But nonetheless, we still have Power Rankings to do, and we will do those. So without any further ado or any more delay, let's get through this week's Fan Show Official Power Rankings. And so we begin with the National Arena League, the one Power Rankings that I started to do when their season started just for fun, along with the IFL. So National Arena League had a little bit of movement up at the top, and here we go. Number 6, the Lehigh Valley Steelhawks. Number 5, the Maine Mammoths. Number 4, the Jacksonville Sharks. Number 3, the Carolina Cobras. Number 2, the Columbus Lions. And number 1, and new number 1, the Massachusetts Pirates. That's right. They are sitting atop the rankings, 5-1, after a huge win over the Columbus Lions. And then we have... over the Maine Mammoths. 2-point conversion, walk-off to seal it. Columbus Lions with a big win over the Carolina Cobras. They come back. They run a 9-second drill, if there is such a thing, and a walk-off field goal extra point to win that one. Columbus Lions are now 3-1. Cobras 4-2. Jack's Sharks have finally gotten back to 500. They're 3-3 after winning 2 straight. Maine Mammoths 1-4. We talked to Robert Brown last night. He had very nice things to say about the team up in Maine and what football is like up there. I don't even know what that, like the Windy City is Chicago and the Sunshine State is Florida. Like, what is Maine? I don't know what Maine is. Is it lobster country? Help me out, folks. Fan Nation. And Steelhawks 5. I don't know what's going on there. I really don't. But that is your National Arena League Power Rankings. For your Indoor Football League Power Rankings, they are as follows. Number 6, Intercraft Titans. Number 5, Green Bay Blizzard. Number 4, Nebraska Danger. Number 3, the Sioux Falls Storm. Number 2, the Iowa Barnstormers. And number 1, and new, Arizona Rattlers. It was fun while it lasted, folks. It really was. But the fact is that Arizona's got the longest winning streak right now. And Iowa is responsible for that one loss. Yes, they beat Sioux Falls, but they've also lost to Sioux Falls, and they've also lost to Nebraska. So Arizona Rattlers 9-1, Iowa Barnstormers 7-2, Sioux Falls Storm 7-3, Danger 4 and 6, Blizzard 1 and 8, Cedar Rapids Titans 1 and 9. And then we started a new thing today because of our weekly BattleBot segment, which is that we have a top 10. That's right. They're kind of like a power rankings, but there's like 55 bots, and I don't want to rank all 55 of them. So we've got a weekly top 10, and of course, this first top 10 include only 10 of the 11 that were in the first episode. I feel so bad for that one that got left out. But hey, top 10 is a top 10. So your top 10 are as follows. Number 10, free shipping. Number 9, bombshell. Number 8, Minotaur. Number 7, blacksmith. Number 6, make a rampage. Number 5, duck. Number 4, huge. Number 3, bite force. Number 2, lockjaw. And as if there was any doubt, the number 1 BattleBot of our new weekly top 10 goes to Tombstone. That's right. Tombstone sits atop the first ever fan show official weekly power rank or weekly top 10 for BattleBots. In fact, BattleBots official Twitter page has liked it. So that's about as official as you can get. So here we go. We're going to bring on our first guest. We're going to get to know the Woolley brothers and Double Jeopardy. So don't go anywhere. We've got more of Fan Show coming up right after this.
This is a sheep.
It's all ripped up. My face now red. My ears are just freaking boiling.
He's a rough guy. He hates it.
Yeah, at 51 touchdowns, 4,900 total yards.
I know y'all like that, but I got to run. And only in Alabama that could happen, I have to say.
They're so good, man. They would win the Big Ten if they're Big Ten. Could be doing something vision-based in front of you and reach down and grab a handful of insane goodness.
Give it to him. Kudos. I'm clapping like a golfer. Very good, Johnny. I'm proud of you.
Wow. You guys agree on something again? I'm very impressed. You ever had a bad week? You know, just you walk outside, step in a puddle, like right when you walk outside. I mean, how does a puddle right outside your house? Or you stand on the curb and somebody drives by and splashes water up on you? Or it's just raining on you, not anyone else?
I will tell you, before you go any further, I cannot hear Chad when he speaks.
Good. You're listening to the sheet, man. I don't really know what we're doing.
Every Saturday morning, 8 to 10 a.m. right here on WBLZ Sports.
Whether it be your industrial, commercial, or residential needs, Gen Service is the electrical contractor for you. The Gen Service team has the expertise, commitment, and educational years to help you solve all your electrical concerns. They have you in their best interest with helpful suggestions to accommodate your every want. Give them a call, no matter the size of the job, at 740-438-7173. Mention WBLZ Sports, and you'll get a discount. That's Gen Service, 740-438-7173.
This is Nick Ciccarelli, the mad scientist of sports. Join me and Dr. D, Derek Jones, live every Saturday night, 7 p.m. for the Mad Science Sports Lab. The experience on the chalkboard. The subject will be rolling in. Mad Scientist Sports Lab, only on the WBLZ Sports, where we got balls.
Peffer painting and pressure washing. He has over 30 years of painting experience. He's interior, exterior, commercial, or residential. Doug Peffer covers it all. Is your house looking ugh? We'll call on Doug. Doug Peffer Painting and Pressure Washing, 404-966-3331. Mention WLZ Sports and get a special We Got Ball discount. That's Doug Peffer Painting and Pressure Washing, 404-966-3361.
Check out Thursday Night Tailgate, where NFL legends live on. We bring you 5 NFL legends every week, sharing their stories and insight, plus spotlight on positive. Here with players doing great things in their community. Now on WBLZ Sports Talk Radio and WBLZ.com.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back, and that's enough Metallica because it's time for a brand new segment we've got every week on the Fan Show, starting right now. What time is it, Farouk? It is, robot fighting time. And there we go. I'll work on that. But joining me this evening is not one, but 2 special guests making their joined debut, the Woolley brothers, Evan and Bryce, team Double Trouble of Bot Double Jeopardy. Gentlemen, welcome. How you doing?
Great, Richard. Thanks so much for having us on.
Hey, man.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure, guys. Really is. BattleBots is something that I don't even think I would consider it like a guilty pleasure anymore, because I really want it to take off. I want it to do well. I had such high hopes for it when it was on ABC. Now it's found a great home in the Discovery Channel, and so here we are. We're kicked off. We're going. Had a great first new format, the Fight Night, the Fight Card format, and then of course we're going to see you guys later on down the stretch. But your initial thoughts, being part of BattleBots and watching from home, everything come together that you guys worked so hard on. What was the initial reaction? Let's start. Evan, your thoughts.
Yes, well, really, I mean, seeing the premiere episode and then being there at BattleBots this season was truly the fulfillment of a childhood dream, because what inspired Bryce and I to get into robots in the first place was watching BattleBots back in the day on Comedy Central. And so, of course, seeing that, seeing all of the superstars from back then, you got Donald Hudson with Dissector, Christian Carlberg with Overkill, folks like that, being inspired to build a robot from those folks, and then actually getting to compete with those same people on BattleBots in 2018 was pretty incredible. And just seeing the first episode on Discovery, getting to cheer on all of our new friends was pretty awesome.
Yeah, and of course tonight we do have the follow-up premiere. It is the Science Channel premiere. They've got some extra content, another Rumble going on. We've got Sharko, Kraken, and I can't remember the third one for the life of me. But anyway, we're not here to talk about tonight. We're here to talk about you guys. Team Double Trouble, your twin brothers of Double Jeopardy. And it's funny because when I made that post in the group, you guys were one of the first ones to reach back out to me, and apparently there was some mix-up while I was down there. People thought that I was associated with you and that you guys were associated with me, and I was like, what do you mean? And they're like, well, you're not the only one around here running around in a suit. And I was like, really? Like, I need to meet these guys. And then John Remar told me that, yeah, there's this bot, Double Jeopardy, and it's because they're lawyers, and so they wear suits around. So obviously there was probably a little bit of confusion. Bryce, what inspired you guys to tie in law practice and everything with this bot design?
Well, it's something we are a fan of puns, and it's something that we wanted to emphasize that makes our team quite different. Quite a few of the teams that are competing in BattleBots do this professionally. There's a number of inventors on various teams. They've invented some of the pieces that a lot of the robots are using. They work in machine shops, they work with machine shops, and they have access to all these materials. And we thought that the fact that we don't do that is something very different, and we want to highlight that. We also want to show that competing in robots, combat robotics is something that's more accessible to hobbyists. You don't have to be a professional full-time engineer to be able to do this. So that was part of the reason we wanted to emphasize that.
Yeah, it probably helps a little to have a degree in some type of like robotics, because I know that when I'm in that pit area walking around, I'm just like, nope, couldn't do it. Like, I could give you a great bot design. In fact, I hope someone takes up the challenge of designing the first ever F.A.N. bot, with the show and everything. And I think that would be a lot of fun to do for exhibitional reasons, like Jay Leno's Chin Killa did back in the Comedy Central days. But Evan, back to you. What's it been like? This will be a question for both of you guys. Being not just brothers, but twin brothers. And I know that obviously you guys probably have some different personality types where one works better on one thing as opposed to the other working on another. But there's obviously got to be a little bit of sibling rivalry here. What made you guys come together to work on a bot?
I think what really brought us together was the opportunity to fulfill that childhood dream of finally being on BattleBots. And so we actually got started in combat robots back in 2001. And again, that was a collaborative process. We worked on a robot design with our dad, who was working at Cosworth Racing at the time. So that robot, a 60-pounder that we called Troublemaker, was built largely out of cast-off race car parts, the valves that drive, the motors that drive the air intake valves, a nice carbon fiber piece called a plenum top. And that was a design that, if I recall correctly, Bryce was kind of the main driver behind a lot of the design aspects. And so when we first heard that ABC was bringing BattleBots back, of course, we got all excited. We thought, we have to do this. And we all kind of came up with our own designs of what we wanted to pitch to ABC. And so that's kind of where the first rivalry came up. We had these competing designs. Bryce had one that was originally christened Double Jeopardy. I had the projectile design that we actually originally called Capital Punishment. But as you can see, it's kind of melded into a wonderful finished product where we've drawn elements from Bryce's design and used the name, and then went with the kind of basic canon design that I have. So, it is fun on being on a team with my twin brother, and I think we work really well together. And we certainly had to at the competition because I drove the robot and Bryce was the trigger man. So we had to have a very good communication on that.
So a little bit of a collaborative effort. And Bryce, how much truth was there to what Evan just said?
Everything was very true. I can attest to that. I would testify under oath to that. And I think that we really bring out the best in each other. Like Evan was saying, when we first heard about BattleBots coming back and we really wanted to put our hat in the ring this time, we would have like a friendly competition and coming up with different designs. Like you mentioned, we came up with very different designs. Mine more of a multi-bot, his more of a cannon. And then we would be able to pick apart each other's designs and try and come up with the best happy medium between the two. And I think that the finished result is very impressive.
Now, when it comes to your guys' future in combat fighting, has there been many talks, any talks at all about, because you see it all the time, the storylines, people eat that stuff up. You had Bronco, and I forget the name of the bot, that their whole team is a family, and they were pretty much like inspired by Bronco, and then they got to face off, I think, sometime this season. But, you have the mentor and the apprentice, and then you have the siblings and things like that. Are you guys going to at all split off and then hope to see each other maybe, in the tournament or the finals later seasons?
That's pretty fun. I know the one of the MIT teams that did Overhaul is a very successful example of that. They brought Overhaul in the first season of ABC. They came back, and now folks that were on that team have a lot of very successful, very effective designs. You have Overhaul, you have Sawblaze, and others that have all come out of that same team. I think our team is small enough that we really need us to stick together if we want to keep going in this. And we have plenty of ambitious upgrades planned for next season that we're really going to need to put our heads together on. So I hope Bryce wants to keep our alliance strong.
So I wanted to get some feedback from you guys because obviously, the fan show did a weekly BattleBots segment back during season 2 on ABC, and it was really just sort of thrown into the deep end, and you better swim, and I had a lot of fun with it, getting to know you guys. But now I'm trying to incorporate a little bit more fun and things that people can look forward to week in and week out to really be, something that the guys in the pit and the fans everywhere can enjoy. So today I came up with a weekly top 10. It's technically my power rankings day with indoor and arena football, but I figured, hey, why not do, a top 10 for BattleBots? Now, of course, this first top 10 could only be some of the ones that competed earlier, but I don't know if you guys had a chance to see it yet. I have it here. Tombstone is number 1. And then we've got pretty much the rest of it are the bots that won. And then the others are the ones that lost. But then you get into, how did they lose? How close was it? So Lockjaw at 2, Bite Force at 3, Huge at 4, Duck at 5. And then the ones that lost were Maker Rampage at 6, Blacksmith at 7, Minotaur at 8, Bombshell at 9, and number 10 was Free Shipping. So you guys saw the premiere. How intimidating are some of these bots, and, how do you feel about that top 10 right off the bat?
I mean, I think I would probably have a pretty similar list myself. That's quite the astute ranking. And again, seeing that knockdown, drag-out brawl between Minotaur and Tombstone, and especially seeing Tombstone's spinner looking so deadly the whole match, it's hard to think they're not going to repeat in this season. And then I think Lockjaw, that's who I would put right up there too. Their performance against Bombshell was just so dominant that I remember watching that when I was there filming, and I thought to myself after I saw that match, I'm like, that's who has a chance of taking out Tombstone. Yeah, it was very eye-opening experience, one, to be down there live, and two, then to see these matchups transpire. But I tell you, the the quote from Ray is probably going to be one of the best quotes of the whole season. Sorry about your floor. Just the fact that Tombstone has enough
oomph to take chunks out of that floor, and we all know how much goes into, not only the battle box, but just the glass and the floor and the weapons and everything. So it was a great first episode. I'm very excited about season 1 now, or season 3. But you guys, let's start. Evan, a dream match for you. Who do you want to face the most this season?
Yeah, well, one of the things that I kept thinking is that I would love to take Double Jeopardy and shoot one of those crushers right in the mouth. Something like Kraken or Warhead with the T-Rex head. I think it would be pretty spectacular. It would be like the zombie headshot kill, probably come right out the back. I think that would be great. Kraken is one of my favorite new bots this season. Such a beautiful robot, such an interesting take on the Crusher using the pneumatics. And so just being able to go up against another robot that's new and innovative like that, I think would be really, really cool.
Now, Bryce, when you look at these bots and you see one that is really successful and you see one that you haven't seen in combat yet, what's the first thing that stands out to you as a designer? Is it, well, I instantly know what the flaw is with that, or they might be onto something? Like, is the glass half full or half empty?
I always think of it as half full, and I particularly like the new and innovative designs. I like seeing somebody bring in something different. A lot of the weapons can turn out very similar in a lot of respects. So when we see someone like a pneumatic crusher, I think Kraken is the first to bring a pneumatic crusher. Huge is the first one to have those amazing wheels that it has. Double Jeopardy is the first one with the cannon. I think whenever I see a bot with a completely new design, I instantly want it to succeed, and I'm looking forward to that match.
Yeah,
and that describes quite a few of the bots this time.
Yeah, Huge was definitely impressive. Watching that in action, and then of course to see it on the season premiere was something special. It was something that you didn't think about, but there's been a lot of two-wheeled designs that we've seen because flipper bots were so popular. And that I wanted to ask you guys that question. When it comes to bot design, there's obviously going to be a lot of want to copycat, but clearly you can't have, 55 tombstones out there. That takes away all the fun. So you have a tombstone, a minotaur, a bronco, you have a bite force, you have a bombshell, and you have a lot of bots that have, maybe a similar weapon or maybe a similar design, but nothing else is similar about them. So when you guys are getting ready for a fight, or when you guys are making modifications, like, is it fight to fight with you, or do you have a one and done design in mind, and if it needs to change next year, then you'll address that after this season? Evan, we'll start with you.
Sure. I think ours is probably more of a one and done design than a lot of folks. I mean, you saw Sub-Zero add some extra framing and stuff to try and take on Huge, whereas we are just a cannon. And for the most part, our cannon is fixed. It doesn't adjust on the fly, but we think we're well positioned to hit most of the robots in the field. Of course, there are a couple of really short ones in the field. I think both Tantrum and Mecha Rampage are about 6 inches tall, and the center of our barrel is 7 inches tall. So we kind of kept an eye on those robots, and we're trying to ponder, well, how would we deal with going against somebody really short. And so, again, and with our design, it is kind of hard to make those adjustments on the fly because of the way we have the trigger mechanism for the cannon. It's a little temperamental. It likes to be in the place that it's at. And so, we kind of just looked at it as we have a very simple point and shoot design, and it'll pretty much work the same against any opponent.
So, Bryce...
Yeah, but just to add... to add a little bit to what Evan said is that because we're more static with our design, we have to rely more on strategy. So before the matches, once we found out who we were up against, we would have a lot of discussions about when are we going to make the shot, where are we going to make the shot, where do we want to try and hit the robot, how should we best maneuver around that, and things like that.
Yeah, one thing that I was going to add in there for you, Bryce, was are there any designs out there that you're envious of? Any that you wish that you maybe would have thought of first, and if you do it now, it's going to be a copycat story, or just any that you're like, that's really good, and I hope it works? Like, are there any designs out there that you find yourself kind of fanboying out over?
There's two that immediately come to mind. One of them is huge because I'm just in love with the idea that it's this absurdly large robot with these wheels that once you first look at them, it seems like they're really fragile, but they're actually not, and they're very flexible. And I'm thinking that's such a cool design where it's heavily armored in a different way. And that's one thing that I wish I had come up with first. And the other one is Battle Royale with cheese. I wish I came up with the idea of making a cheeseburger robot first.
So as far as the design and everything, it all comes together. You know, season 3. Who came up with the idea to wear suits because of the Double Jeopardy, and of course, your guys being such fans of puns? Like, who decided to suit up for BattleBots?
I think that was one of those where we just kind of it was a simultaneous creation where we each had the same idea at the same time. We knew we wanted to spotlight the lawyer thing. We were originally pitching the name of the robot as capital punishment. Because that's the most intimidating legal thing I think there is. You know, because summary judgment just doesn't sound quite as scary. Neither does double jeopardy, unfortunately. But the difficulty that we ran into is with getting sponsors. It's kind of hard. My firm that I work at, Alston and Bird, they were kind enough to sponsor the robot, but they really just didn't like the optics of capital punishment sponsored by Alston and Bird. A little controversial. So we had to go with the name Double Jeopardy, which Bryce was able to save that for us. But we always knew we wanted to really highlight the lawyer thing because, again, we are the only lawyers in BattleBots this season. I think there's only one other example of a lawyer competing in BattleBots, so we definitely wanted to highlight that.
Well, it's good to have that. Very unique. I'm a big fan of course, any kind of dress-up costumes. Witch Doctor, of course, one that comes to mind. And then, of course, you have the ultimate heel of BattleBots, Ray Billings, who doesn't do any kind of dress-up. He just goes out there and he just terrorizes you and makes you, want to come back for more. But I'm so excited for the rest of the season. And I'm glad that I know lawyers in a positive way now, because that definitely makes things, more beneficial for the show. But Evan, Bryce, I want to thank you guys so much for taking the time to be on the show. Sounds like I need to get a hold of Huge and get those guys on here. But hey, best of luck this season. I look very much forward to seeing what Double Jeopardy and Team Double Trouble has to offer. But again, thank you for being on the show for the first ever BattleBots Weekly segment.
Excellent. Thanks for having us, Richard.
Hey.
Yeah, thank you.
Not a problem, guys. You take care, and I look forward to interacting with you guys as the season goes on.
Absolutely.
All right, have a good
Sounds
night.
good.
And that was Evan and Bryce Woolley of Team Double Trouble and Bot Double Jeopardy. So we'll get this segment hammered out here. I got to work on that little intro spot there. But that was numero uno. A couple of lawyers decided, hey, let's go build a robot and destroy some stuff. That's awesome. Can I just say how awesome that is? That's awesome. But a question for you is if you're interested in co-working. What is co-working? Well, Praxis is Spokane's brand new expert in co-working. They have a co-working space. They want you to be a part of it. In this space, they value diversity, inclusion, and a sense of community. They work to celebrate, collaborate, and work together with entrepreneurs. I should know I won a 2018 Spokane Entrepreneurship Award for Best Media, courtesy of Praxis, a little event that they put on. They're located in downtown Spokane on the 4th floor of the Holly Mason Building, 157 South Howard Street, Spokane, Washington, 99201. The lease is for a space that is 3,500 square feet, and it is equipped with a small kitchenette, a conference room, a smaller office, and a large open area. There are excellent parking options, a coffee shop in the bottom of the building, and space is only 9-minute walk from River Park Square. $275 a month is what they're looking for, but they can negotiate a lower rate for a longer term commitment. I think they got a 3-month special going on right now. Visit praxiscoworking.com. Well, what does a membership get you? Well, it gets you everything that Praxis has to offer. Personal desk, access to all the business and recreational amenities, a key, Wi-Fi, use of the private rooms as they are available. There's no hidden fees, no conference room fees, and no limited amount of minutes that you can spend in different areas. $275 gets you everything that they have to offer. Like I said, hit them up now because space is going quickly. Contact Robbie, fantastic individual, at praxiscoworking.com. That is Robbie with an I. ROBBI at praxiscoworking.com, or by phone 509-220-0817. Praxis Coworking. Be yourself at work. And with that, we have one more commercial break, one more guest. We'll be back with more of the Fan Show after this.
You're listening to the Fan Show, your home for all things football and nonsense. My special guest tonight, Farouk. Farouk, welcome.
He's no expert, but here's the thing. Football and nonsense is what he brings. Sports talk with a twist. It's the Fan Show.
Do you know him as Kevin from the League? It is none other than very funny Steve Ranazzisi.
99% of the population doesn't know who I am, but the 1% do. They yell and scream inappropriate things at me in public.
Kyle Ray. Kyle, welcome.
And I was like, wow, I think we just saw the whole Super Bowl, Phyllis. It's like that scene in The Simpsons. Like, why rent the movie? I just saw the best part.
Funny man Brad Williams.
Yeah, I'm here. No, I flew in just for your podcast. I've heard about this podcast. I've heard it's fantastic.
It's Mac and Farva, but they are my special guests tonight. Steve Lemmy, Kevin Heffernan.
I was in Mexico for 10 weeks in a Speedo. Like, that was me going to work. I was putting on a Speedo. Farva is the most fun to play, and it was a blast to do that again, to do Farva again. So then the makeup artist had to put Vaseline on your body, right? Yeah. And then put the powdered sugar on top of that. Is your name really Richard Siemens?
Listen live every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday night on Spreaker.com, or subscribe to the podcast on iTunes and SoundCloud.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back and returning to the Fan Show. He is one of the newer members of the Sioux Falls Storm. It is Lorenzo White Jr. Welcome, Lorenzo. How you doing, man?
Hey, man, I'm doing good, man. Glad to be back.
Yeah, I think, well, it's been a while. I know that I talked to you last season when you were with Nebraska. And then, of course, there was the infamous takeover, you and Squally and Hellwidge and Haig taking over the show, the last one of the first Empire season. So it's been a while, man, but you doing good? You liking Sioux Falls?
Oh, man, yeah, I'm loving it, man. I'm doing good, man. Just had to get back to playing football, so, yeah, I ended up here.
Yeah, you had taken some time off, and then you were looking for a spot to land, and it looked like there was, you were with the Tampa Bay Storm, but they folded up. So when it came time to, finally put the pads back on and step out onto that turf, what was it about Sioux Falls that, sold you on it, that you decided that you wanted to go that far north again?
Oh, man, I was just, I was back at home just training and everything, Like I said, I was hoping to go back to Tampa, but obviously they ceased operation that for the year. So I was just home training, and then I was just like, I know opportunity gonna come. Me being that I been like 3 years in the arena league, so I know opportunity was gonna come. And then we got in contact with Sioux Falls. They said they for a veteran guy to come in right away and play. And how the Sioux Falls history, great organization, great team, and everything. So, I figured, man, why not, man? I'm ready to get back and suit up to the past. So that's how I landed here.
I definitely do know the Sioux Falls history, which I got to ask. Did anybody hit you up and give you any crap for signing with the Storm that you had played with formerly?
Oh no, nobody gave me crap. They was everybody. Everybody was for me. I talked to Nick and Squally almost every day. We FaceTime and everything, and they was like they happy for me, happy I'm back in the thing. They they didn't want to see me not playing, so everybody happy, and like I say, it's just business. It's a business. Football is a business. You can be with one team at the next day, and then get cut and release, and then on to another team. So it's all business.
Yeah, it's all business. It's all about that bigger picture, and I know that the guys, they can speak for me too. I'm just glad that you're out there, on the field again. All joking aside, we can rag on you and we can give you a hard time, but the ultimate goal at the end of the day is make sure that you're out there doing what you love to do and that you're contributing in the best way that you can. And it's about business, but you also want to make sure that it's about you and what's best for you. And if that means that Sioux Falls had a need for speed at wide receiver, then hey man, you go and you do that, or you go and play whatever you want. But I'm just happy to see you back out there, man, to be honest.
Yeah, man. Yeah, like I said, I'm glad to be back in there. It's so happy that every team that I've been on, it's Operation Seas. So I was hoping that Spokane was coming back. I had love for Spokane, so they not back. So hey, had to go elsewhere. So I'm enjoying it though. I'm taking enjoying the process and everything.
So what's the I always like to ask this to guys that I know from one team that went to another. I asked Robert Brown, he was with the Jacksonville Sharks for a little bit, and now he's up in Maine with the Mammoths. So for you, you've been to Spokane, you've been to Nebraska, and now Sioux Falls. What are some of the biggest differences that you notice between the three, or even if you wanted to compare Spokane to Sioux Falls?
There's not much of a difference. It's all the same hospitality, the same game, and different players you meet. And there's some players that I played with. On the Nebraska team, it's like 3 or 4 of us here, from Nebraska. So it's not really much of a difference. Just adapting to different cities and different fan base, and just taking it from there. But like I said, it's a football game, and you gotta be willing to make changes, and that's basically it.
Now, when it comes to Sioux Falls and their culture, Curtis Riggs, I've talked to him a lot on the show. Great guy. As a player, though, somebody who's new, what was your first impression of Coach Riggs when you were putting on the Sioux Falls colors?
Well, Coach Riggs is a great coach. You're very calm and, very calm about his approach. And, he's a coach, that likes to get things done and, he don't yell. He just handles his business quiet way and, and then game days, he, give us a speech and then, we rowdy and hyped up after that. So, he's a good coach, great coach, and I'm glad I'm playing for him right now.
So for you, this season, you got any personal goals you want to achieve or anything that you have on the mind that you haven't gotten to do yet in your indoor career that you think you have a good opportunity to do with the Storm?
Win a championship. Spokane, we was close. We went to the championship and, actually lost to Sioux Falls. So, my goal out of all this is, I think anybody else's goal out of this is just to win the championship. And, I think that we're in a great, position to do so. Just got to keep taking care of business, 1-0 from here on out. And, do our part. And hopefully I could, get me some bling bling out of this, get me that ring out of this.
Is that for you pretty much what's left at this stage in your career? Like just getting that ring? You feel like you've accomplished kind of everything else that you set out to do?
No. Of course, the ultimate goal is to, to continue to produce, continue to play well, and move up to the next level. There's been some talk. I still have an agent and everything. He's saying, people still out there know about me. People want to, they looking to see what I do every week. And that's why I say I just go out there and play hard, and never know how things will shake up. Like I said, I got a few CFLs.
You still there? Or did we lose you? Think we might have lost him. Zoe, you still there? I hear crackling. I don't know.
Can you hear me?
Oh, I hear you. There you are.
Oh, I'm sorry. My headphones probably had cut off. I don't know.
That's all right, man. Well, we were just about to finish up here anyway. So, ultimate goal, not a championship, but to continue to produce, and I think that's admirable. But obviously, you want the bling to go with the hard work and effort that you've put forth so far, and maybe even get to that next level. How does that next level look for you? You know that you had a couple looks from the CFL. You're training hard in Florida. Like, what's your plans once the season's over?
Well, yeah, my plan was to, just make a strong highlight tape. That's what, continue to produce and get great film, continue to play at a high level, so I can get to that next level. And then, I got a few CFL teams that's, looking at me and, talking to my agent and, trying to get me in. So hopefully, everything works out for the best at the end of the season. I produce and I, get to that level, so get back outdoors and, show a little bit, So yeah, that's basically the plan right there.
Well, you guys got a road game against Cedar Rapids, and they play it tough every time. And then you guys have got a couple of really tough matchups coming up at the month of June, which is pretty much going to set the landscape for the postseason. You guys are going to host the Barnstormers again, and then you guys are playing Green Bay twice, who they're kind of a wild card right now just because they are under the new head coaching direction of Corey Robertson. So mindset moving forward for the rest of the season, what's yours right now?
Say it again. Say one more. Say the
mindset for the rest of the season?
You say, are we set for the rest of the season?
No, your mindset for the rest of the season.
Oh, yeah. I'm like I say, I'm not upset. We just take one game at a time. Like I said, like I mentioned earlier, it's 1-0 from here on out. Just continue to just win, and do our part, and it'll play out from there. It'll play out there. Try to secure the home field advantage in the play. Well, not the home field advantage, but the home playoff game.
Yeah,
playoffs there. Yeah, just continue to go from there.
What's the one thing you miss about Spokane, if there is a thing?
One thing I might miss about Spokane, I say the great fan base. We were heavily involved in the community, and the fans was, heavily involved with us as well. And we appreciated that, and that we just felt loved in Spokane. And not saying that I don't feel loved here. It's just like I was in Spokane for a whole season and a half, so. We kind of got adapted to all the fans and everything. So I say the fan base, and then it's a great city. Great city to be in. So that's one of the things I miss about Spokane.
Well, I know they miss you too, man. But hey, I want to wish you the best of luck on the rest of the season. I hope it's a good one for you, and I hope I get to see you later on down the road. But I definitely need to come visit you in Florida because I have yet to catch one of those famous peacock bass. But I know that you've been fishing hard down there. I see your snaps all the time, man. So we gotta go out together.
Oh, definitely, yeah, definitely get down there in Florida, especially in the summertime. It's gonna be good and hot. Peacock bass gonna be good and biting. So, yeah, so that definitely gotta get down there for that, so I can outfish you.
All right, he is Lorenzo White Jr. of the Sioux Falls Storm. Good catching up with you, man. You take care of yourself, all right?
All right, you too.
All right, thank you, man. And that is pretty much going to do it. Oh, you are just such a little stinker right now. Oh, kittens, I tell you. Yes, I know, you're cute. Everybody knows you're cute. You want everyone to know you're cute. He's adorable. You can't stay mad at him for more than like 10 seconds. But he fits right in the palm of your hand. He's so cute. Hi, Fozzie. And I'm probably lost the only other listeners that are still tuned in right now. So apologies for the background noise, folks. But we'll work on it because we've got some little potty training and stuff to do. Right, Fozzie? That's right. And don't forget, tomorrow night we got another great episode. Should have Nick Hague on of the Massachusetts Pirates. And then we'll have Brian Hicks of the Green Bay Blizzard. Get you ready for your next exciting weekend of indoor football action, the Indoor Football League and the National Arena League. Don't forget to check out the Fan Show on thefanshow.com, your home base for all things football and nonsense. We're going to be adding a lot more content to the site now that we are officially branching out in different ways, shapes, and forms. Big thanks to the Woolley brothers, F.A.N and Bryce, for being part of my first weekly BattleBot segment here for Season 3. It's not the official first BattleBot segment we've done on the show, but for Season 3 it is. It's back. It's better than ever. I'm very excited about what the future holds. So tomorrow night we've got the last episode of the week. We've got Wolfpack football this weekend. Saturday they kick off at 5 o'clock Pacific time. That is at Joe Albee Stadium. If you're in the area, I encourage you to go. It's 11 on 11 outdoor football. I mean, you don't have anything better to do May 19th, mid-May anyway, so you might as well go out there. Maybe I'll bring Fozzie. Fozzie, you want to go? You want to go? Yeah? You want to go? Want to go see Wolfpack play? If you guys haven't seen a picture of Fozzie, then you can by following me on Instagram, The Fan Show, Snapchat, The Fan Show, Twitter, @FanShowOfficial, and of course, Facebook.com/FanShowOfficial. Give the show a like, a follow, and some loving on all the social media platforms. If you missed any of tonight's episode, then you can always catch a replay tomorrow on WBLZ Sports. You might as well download the app. They got plenty of great shows that are sports, football, nonsense, and much, much more, including 8-Bit Bros and Legacy Makers Sports Network. Great stuff. I'm on there. It's a great family to be a part of, and I haven't regretted a minute of being part of WBLZ Sports. So you can also subscribe to the podcast, iTunes, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio. And then if you want to listen live, if you can, every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, that is Spreaker.com/user/TheFanShow, and of course, TheFanShow.com/live. So I will leave you guys so that I can go attend to the cuteness bundle here, Mr. Fozzie. Hi, Fozzie. And you guys can go and get ready for the second part, or the replay, of the season premiere of BattleBots tonight on the Science Channel with bonus content. So until next time, ladies and gentlemen, best of luck to you and yours. Go Niners, and remember, of course, it's all fun and games until you butt fumble. Good night, folks!
Do you remember the time that Mark Sanchez ran into his player's butt? That was funny sports.
Thank you for having me on the show, man. I love the Fan Show.